Laugh, laugh. Get it out of your system. Go ahead. Finish up. All right. My name is Aaron Ross, and we are doing magic grip setup from half guard, north-south, side control, all the above. We'll just get right into it. Marcus. Okay. We'll show, I'll start with a basic setup, how to get into it. Everything else will branch off from this. But there are other ways to set it up, and I'll show you that stuff later, but we don't want to get too far off the path. I want to get right into the meat of everything here. Okay, so I get this a lot from a lot of different positions, but most of the time I will get it from just like a standard side control position. Hopefully my swords won't cut him here if they unsheath themselves, and that's not a sexual term. Okay, so we're here, we're in side control, all right, and a lot of times, sometimes guys will start pushing on you or something like this, and we'll go to like reverse Keisugatami, okay? Sometimes his hand's here, sometimes it's in, sometimes it's just trying to underhook you, whatever it is. First thing that I like to do is to see his elbow is here. If my arm is way up high towards his shoulder, he can really underhook me a lot. This causes me a lot of trouble, right? I want to be here. I want it so his elbow is just peeking. Now if he tries to underhook me from here, he really can't because I took away his leverage and his ability to really underhook me. So to start the Magic Grip series, right now obviously he just can't walk on the mat, his gi is in. But sometimes as you've been training, as you've been sparring, it comes out, which is even better for you. So if his hand is here, what I want is like I'm doing a Kimura setup. Everybody here familiar with the normal Kimura? Pretty standard setup, right? One thing that I like to do, sometimes he's really like pulling his elbow in, is I like to grab his wrist right on his belly button, and I like to push it down. You see when I do that, the elbow pops up about that much. Not a ton, but it's enough to just get your elbow inside like that, especially not your elbow, but your forearm under his elbow so he can't pin it to his side. So as I get it in here, this is what I want. I want his elbow on top of my arm. I'm creating a little bit of a wedge here. And now it's as simple as me doing this. Okay? Start off here, like this. And I want my hand out. Like I'm asking for money or I'm flipping a pizza or something like that. I don't know. So you want your hand out like this. This keeps it really tight for him. You try to move your arm around. It's sort of hard for him to move his arm, even though I'm holding it with only one hand. Then I'm looking to grab something down here. These gis are a little bit tight and they don't have the longest skirts on them, and they're gonna vary a little bit. The best one that I like to grab, you see how on the side of the gi it has this V right here, right? If I can get this back one, this is the best because it's the tightest. But sometimes because the skirt isn't long enough or maybe it's stuck underneath him, I'll go to this V, which is probably the second tightest. I can grab the lapel itself, which is maybe the third. You can grab the belt. You can even stick your hand inside of his pants. Any one of the above, but I like this back part of the V here, if I can get it. I want to pull it tight over the top of his arm, and I want to grip it palm down. Okay, not palm up, and I'll kind of show you guys later why I like it with the palm down. So I pull it out in here, and that's the magic grip, okay? So what we're gonna work on first is just setting this grip up. So we can do it, let's say we're side control here, normal side control, he's trying to underhook me or whatever it is, and I can switch my hips. One thing I want you, when you guys are in this position, I want you to be on your toes and active. So if he really does try to like come into you hard, you can push into him. And I want your knee in his hip. This is gonna stop his guard recovery. And the more connection you have to him, it's harder for him to make space. If you have space here, yeah, he can follow you around or something like this. So knee in the hip, foot active, pushing into him a bit. And then we push down. One more time quickly. We start here by the elbow, not up here, you want it right here by the elbow. Push the armpit under here, just so you can peel it up. Hand open, and then you want to feed whatever you can get. This is the best. Right there. Does everybody understand that so far? Anyone need to see it again? All right, let's give that a shot, and then we'll start getting into it. All right, guys? Let's do it. Ichi-ni-san. All right. Some guys seem to be having a problem with the, you guys, a normal Kimura setup is like this, right? It's the same, basically you're kind of doing the same exact thing. Some guys are having a confusion on exactly what to do. So I'll just show it one more time quickly and then I'll let you guys do it. So let's just start from here. Let's start facing his legs. Arm is inside, not like this. The arm is inside our arm, okay? Up near the elbow. Pin it. You want your elbow almost touching his hip. If it's out here, he can move his arm around and everything, yeah. So I want my elbow in his hip, tight. Sometimes I'll even grab the pants. If the guy's a strong guy and he's really like pushing hard, I'll come here and I'll grab right here. Like try to move your arm now. It's tight. I can hold it basically to his body at that point. So what we're doing, one more time. I like to grab the wrist, push it right to his belly button, okay? This isolates his hand because if not, if the guy's strong, sometimes he can still do it. He can grab your gi behind you and it's a pain. Pin it right to him, okay? We're right on his elbow. I'm that far above his elbow with my bicep right here. I'm not down, I'm not below it, I'm right above it. Okay? Now all we're doing, pushing down, this is a wedge. We're just driving a wedge right here underneath it so he can't pin the elbow down. And then we're taking it, and then I keep my hand on his wrist, okay? I can use it to manipulate it to give myself space. So all I'm doing is here, my hand is here tight, I'm grabbing, and then it's inside, and this hand comes out. Just like this, palm up. If you don't put your palm up, he can just come over it, palm up. Now try to put, I can hold him here, guys. You kind of want to, almost like you're trying to push your arm out. Like I'm just kind of doing like that. The harder I do that, the harder it's for him to move. So that's all we're doing for now, and then we're grabbing whatever we can get, guys. This. Even the belt is in play, if that's what you have to go to. But the gi is going to be tighter. Does everybody understand that point? Let's try that for just a couple more minutes, and then we'll get into everything, all right? Let's go. Deeper. Yep, now grab. Pull it, yeah, give it a snap, pull it down, palm down. You want to pull it? Watch out. Let go. Okay, does everybody have a pretty good understanding on what's happening with that grip so far? Is anyone still having trouble getting it? If you do have trouble getting it consistently, it's just not working, grab me after. We'll continue now, but I'm happy to help anybody later, okay? Okay, so the first thing we're gonna do, so we've done everything, we've done all the work, we're here, pinned it, hand inside. We've grabbed something, we have a grip on it now. Okay, now we're gonna start moving into what they call, some people call the headquarters position, the Kimura position. So I'm going to step over here and pull him like this. Is anybody not familiar with this position? If you've done Kimuras before, you guys are familiar with this sort of position, right? You pull him onto the side. First attack we're gonna do is it's right now you see when I stepped over that his arm is inside my legs. Does everybody see that here? How his arm ended up here inside my legs. The first move I'm gonna do is I'm gonna grab this, okay? Nice tight grip. I'm gonna fall to my left hip as I shoot my leg under his head. His head is on my thigh like a pillow. I'm gonna keep holding on to this, scoop under his shoulder, and lock the triangle. Okay? So his arm inside my leg. I'm grabbing this, pulling this tight, falling to my hip, shooting my leg in. This comes under the shoulder. And sometimes, guys, depending on how big the guy is, you might need to scoop it a couple times. Okay, so sometimes if you get this, depending on your body type, his body type, he's tough, he's not tough, she's not tough, whatever it is, you can't get this. An alternative finish is a little little arm lock from here. So if you can't get this, you're pulling on it, you're squeezing. You can do this. This is a really quick shoulder lock that works a lot if you can't finish them. I'll try from a different position.
Yep.
Does anybody want to see this again? Or need to see it again? We'll see it one more time? Okay. We'll just start from this position. No, I'll start through the whole thing. From here. And some people were asking me before, like sometimes they can still straighten their arm out. They're having trouble. Guys, if I put my chest on it, now he tries it, he can't do it. Some people are just sitting up high. Yeah, he can, even if I have like this, he can still do it. Put your chest into it a little bit. Now straighten your arm. Does that help anybody? Yeah, just put pressure into it on his bicep, tricep area, and it compresses everything. It's harder for him to do that. Okay? Shoot. Peel this. The top leg is going to be inside the bottom leg. The bottom leg is the one doing the, not like this guy, okay? Top leg goes inside the bottom leg. Yep. Pretty easy, right? Insanely easy, right? All right, let's do it, guys. I'm just going to tell you guys right now, being a ninja is not for hot weather. It doesn't work out well. My balls is hot. That's a UFC reference, guys. It's not original material. Okay, does everybody understand that triangle? Is anybody having troubles with it at all? Yeah, it's one of those things that you kind of have to do it a little bit more, and depending on the size of your legs, how wide their shoulders are, everybody's a little bit different. Like there was a guy working with a lady, and he couldn't quite finish it. If they have narrow shoulders and a narrow neck and you have long legs, it's kind of hard to get all the space out of there. So sometimes that's why that other little arm lock works. But guys, you always have the option from here, because that magic grip is nice. If for some reason, none of this stuff is working for you, you're doing all this, maybe he's just fighting you, it doesn't work, you can always just come back up to here. And then you can still do a regular grip. There's other things we're gonna get into, but that's always an option. Because he's locked up really good and tight, if it's not working, he's bridging or doing, he's trying to roll, he's doing all this stuff, you can always come back up and go into something else.
You can also grab the foot with the right arm, something bridging.
Yeah, of course. If he's here and he's doing bridging and stuff like that, yeah, you can pull the leg. Sometimes I'll do like this. Some guys are really strong, they'll bridge you and you'll end up on the bottom. You don't want to be on the bottom. So I'll hold the leg. If it's just trouble and you want to abandon ship, it's okay. Just come back up, all right? Second scenario, guys. We're gonna move along. If you guys have questions about any of these steps along the way, please ask me later. I'm happy to help. Let's say we go through the magic grip, we do everything, we stand up, and his arm is not inside, which happens maybe 50% of the time. We're gonna do a paper cutter choke. Basically, all this stuff is like judo, is all from judo. Judo osai komi, this setup, they're using it for pinning and stuff like that. So all this stuff is judo setup, including this. So we're here, we got a good pinch on him. We're gonna take our hand, we're gonna just open our leg just a little bit. Thread it inside. And I'm gonna get a good grip on his collar here. I'll move my leg so you can see it. Basically what I'm doing, I'm putting my hand, sliding it along his chest, thumb goes in as deep as I can get it, okay? But I'm doing it, shielding it with my leg. So he can't go in here and he can't defend it. I'm gonna reach in, grab it. I'm gonna come back to the side, and I'm gonna finish like this. Okay? So we're here, the leg is, or the arm is not, obviously not inside of my legs. thread my hand in, palm towards his chest, thumb as deep as I can get it, guys. Step over to the side. One little trick with the paper cutter choke, and this works not only for this one, but any paper cutter choke, is if for some reason maybe you don't get it deep enough, or maybe you thought you had it deep enough, but his gi kind of slid around. If you feel it's loose and like your elbow's to the floor, you can't finish it, just move your elbow that way. So let's say it's here. Okay? So it's here, maybe you didn't get it deep enough. Just turn the corner. We're here, arm is inside. Hand goes in. Does everybody understand that? Does anyone want to see it again? See it again? One, see it again. Going once, going twice. Any more, see it again? No. Okay. When I do the paper cutter choke, guys, I don't like to be on my knees. I like to be down, pressure into him, on my toes. Not on my knees if possible. Pressure. Pretty good? All right, let's give it a shot. Is everybody getting a pretty good understanding of how that works? Yes. One thing to keep in mind, guys and girls, ladies, gentlemen, is if you have this, everything is set on here, right? And you're trying to get it, it's okay to take an extra second to get your hand in a little bit deeper, because sometimes what happens is if you rush it and maybe the collar's loose, you thought you had it in, sometimes all these tricks don't work if it's too loose once you've stepped around, okay? So take an extra second here and just get an extra centimeter or half, whatever it is, because it'll make your job easier once you turn over to try to do it. Okay? Now let's say, one other point I want to make. The reason I wanted you guys to grip it with the palm towards the ground is because, first of all, it's looser. If it's like this, that's pretty tight. Move your hand around. He can still kind of move it, but if it's here, now move your hand around. Which one's tighter? No. Much tighter. Also, for the paper cutter, if your hand is twisted and you have to come around like this, look at my arm now. My arm is all twisted because the palm is up. And I can't put as much pressure on him. If it's down, I could put more pressure into him because of the way my arm is articulated funny with the palm up, especially once I come to this side. So not only is it tighter on the arm with the grip, it's much easier for you on your arm once you come over to this side that you have it gripped on. Does that make sense? So that's why I like the palm down. Tighter, and it doesn't twist your arm all up when you're doing paper cutters and things like that. Okay, so let's say for some reason you're trying all this, none of this stuff works. Maybe he scissors his legs and goes this way or something, okay? Now I'm here. This is all sequential stuff. You can run these back and forth. Sometimes he moves this way, moves that way. But if you have this grip, it's very, very strong. And it's really good if you're a guy, it really works good. If you're smaller than the other person, it works good. This grip, isolating the arm, really makes it difficult for them, and it gives you options. So maybe he's struggling, he's moving around, he's doing all these things. He comes this way. Okay, he's on his side right here. I'm on my feet, on my toes. I'm pushing into him. I'm gonna put my hand in here. Nice, good grip. And all we're doing is we turn it into a clock choke with the same grip. So what ends up happening is sometimes you do that. Maybe he scissors his legs, he goes on his side here. He's sort of kind of turtled, but not really. He's not exactly 90 degrees. He's more facing down than he is backwards. And you want to keep him that way. So you sort of compress his body. All your weight's on top of him. You're on your toes, you're on your feet. This hand comes in on his neck as deep as possible. Pull your elbow to try to pull it inside, and then you just walk your hand. Very, very tight. Is it tight?
Oh yeah.
I'm just checking because I don't want a loose choke, guys. I want a tight choke. Okay, so we're here, we're paper cutter. Doesn't work, he comes this way. I could press into him. You can almost feel them sort of fold, their body sort of folds a little bit. You feel it. Hand comes in. Here, suck it in, suck your elbow into your body, and then walk around there. It comes on really hard. Does everybody have an understanding of that? Does anyone want to see it again? Of course they do. Of course they do. That's part of the fun. They come here for the show. I mean, we're just turning around. I just want them to see from the other side. So I have everything gripped. Trying for the paper cutter. Like this. However you guys want to do it, that's sort of up to you. I like having my hip this way because I'm going to end up running that way anyway. Here. And this here, guys, if he's putting his chin down, you want to just make it like a knife hand and just sort of run it under his chin and just work it in. Sometimes you just wiggle it along. Wiggle it along. Wiggle it along. Good grip. Elbow back to yourself. Chin's down. Just wiggle. Right there. Sometimes you can even walk it in your own hands. Just take a little bit out of it. Elbow comes back. That's it. All right, let's give it a shot. Ready? That was your clap, not mine. Not my clap. All right, we're sort of running out of time. And so I'm gonna just run through some of the stuff I was gonna show you because it's getting filmed and you guys can review it later. But please, if you have questions about it, ask me because there's more pieces to this as you're gonna see here. We've only went over 3 things or whatever. So we'll start. I'm gonna show you how some of the other ways real quick that I set it up just to run through them. I'm gonna run through the stuff that we just did and I'm gonna run through some other quick options just so you guys can have it and it'll be on film and you can review it later, okay? So I showed you one way where I set this up from side control. You guys can also set this up if you're already in this normal Kimura position. You guys get in this position sometimes just by you can go right to the magic grip and then start all the things that we just showed from here. You can also do it the way I showed here. Sometimes guys are underhooking you and then we can start it how I showed you here. One of my favorite ways to do it is if I'm in half guard, I'll beat the Z guard. Some guys are trying to underhook me and I'll come here. I'll do it, I'll grip it. I'll pass and then I'm in the magic grip and I can just do all the things that we just showed. So there are other ways to set it up. Even from the back, you can do it. So, just to recap some of the things we did today real quick. We're in the magic grip. Remember, push the hand down, elbow comes up. Palm down. Step over. Arms inside. Wonderful. Tap. 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 Let's say the arm's not inside. You got a base or a paper cutter choke. Okay? Who's struggling? Come up. One other point that I'll make. If you guys really like having the arm inside and it's not inside, put the arm inside. No problem. You know? I'll just isolate it, step, keep my foot to the ground so there's no space and scoop it. So you can put it inside if you want. A couple of other options. Let's say you're trying to do this. He's blocking all of this. He's blocking all of this. He's giving you trouble. I got him, I'll come like this, knee goes to the back. I'm on his back now. I can do another little choke like this. Sort of a paper cutter, but a little twist. I can just take his back per usual. So, lots of other things. let's say I was in this position already. Of course, you have wrist locks from here. You have straight arm locks. Let's say you got this and he's bridging that way or something like that. We got lots of little things in here we can do, guys. We can do options. We didn't get on me. So there's lots of options from that position. Like I showed, we take the back. We can keep the arm the whole time. We can do bow and arrow chokes with that. We can go to arm locks. You know, lots of different things. So that grip is very useful. I recommend you guys just play with it. I know it's been the catchphrase all day. People just play around with it. But just try it out. But that grip's very powerful. And if at minimum, it'll slow the opponent down and give you time to work. And it's a very strong position. And it will give you time to think. Because it's hard for them to get out of that. Maybe they can throw their elbow down and really turn into you if they're bigger. But there are options. But play with it. I've had a lot of people from other camps. I've taught this a couple times, and they've been really, really successful with it in practice and competitions. So it is very, very, very effective for myself included. So please try it out. And if you have any feedback from me on it, or you have any questions or anything, please, I'll be here till Sunday. Grab me, like literally grab me. Help me, and I'll help you out, okay? I just want to thank you guys very much for coming to my class, and thank you for coming to the camp. Christian appreciates it, of course, and I'm sure everybody else appreciates each other's company, so thanks again, and thank you to Marcus and his neck. I really enjoyed playing with it today, and thank you guys very much.